At 76, Richard Gere, one of Hollywood's most iconic leading men, now lives in voluntary exile. This isn't a case of disgrace or failure, instead it is a conscious choice. Known for his roles in Pretty Woman and An Officer and a Gentleman, Gere was once the epitome of charm, sex appeal, and success. His face graced magazine covers, and his name was a box office guarantee. Yet today he's banned from China, estranged from the industry that made him a star, and living quietly in the streets of Madrid raising 2 toddlers. The truly shocking part of this story? Gere orchestrated his own exile. Instead of chasing billion-dollar franchises, he chose to follow the teachings of Tibetan monks over the lure of Hollywood riches, opting for peace and principle over profit. Hollywood, in turn, erased him. A restless beginning born. Richard Tiffany Gere, on August 31, 1949 in Philadelphia, Richard's early years were spent in the small town of Syracuse, New York. With a population of just 5,000 people, Syracuse was a place that seemed ordinary but fostered extraordinary restlessness in its young inhabitants. Richard's father, Homer George Gere, had once dreamed of becoming a Methodist minister, though he never wore the collar. Instead, he brought that sense of compassion and duty into everything he did, including his insurance work. Richard grew up in a home filled with music, warmth, and a deep sense of purpose. His mother, Doris Ann, was a homemaker, and the Gere family had a deep love for music. Richard's talent for playing instruments, including piano, guitar, and trumpet, was evident from an early age. The spark of a dream. Richard's talents went beyond music. He excelled in gymnastics as well, earning a scholarship to the University of Massachusetts Amherst in 1967. While there, he chose to study philosophy instead of pursuing a more practical career. His decision to focus on philosophy seemed to match his restless nature. Books by thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre became his companions as he questioned the very nature of existence and reality. Richard found himself asking, what is the purpose of it all? The Methodist faith he was raised in didn't provide the answers he sought. Seeking answers, he found solace in Buddhist teachings, which began to shape his worldview. But despite his academic promise, Richard felt a deep calling toward the theater. And so in 1969, he left college and moved to New York City to pursue acting. A new beginning in New York. Richard's journey into acting was far from glamorous. He worked at various theaters, including the Seattle Repertory Theater and Provincetown Playhouse, taking on roles like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. He lived a nomadic existence, sleeping in his car between gigs, struggling to make rent, and auditioning for anything that would give him a chance. His big break came in 1973 when he landed a role in the original London production of Grease. Unlike the Hollywood version that would later take the world by storm, Richard's portrayal of Danny Zuko was raw, gritty, and real. His performance was noticed, and soon, his career began to build momentum. The turning point in Nepal. In 1978, Richard's life took an unexpected turn. While traveling to Nepal with Brazilian painter Sylvia Martins, he had an encounter that would alter the course of his life. In the shadow of the Himalayas, Richard met Tibetan monks and lamas whose teachings resonated with his soul. He then met the Dalai Lama, and that moment changed everything. The Dalai Lama challenged Richard's understanding of acting, especially the Stanislavski method, which emphasizes emotional immersion. The Dalai Lama's teachings suggested that emotions like anger and suffering were impermanent and should not be manipulated in acting. Richard found peace in Tibetan Buddhism, not as a celebrity affectation, but as a spiritual practice. He walked across Tibet, studying in monasteries, and fully embraced the Buddhist way of life. The cost of speaking out. Richard Gere's career in Hollywood began to deteriorate as he refused to back down on his political beliefs. In 1993, during his appearance at the Academy Awards, he used the global stage to denounce China's actions in Tibet. The backlash was swift and severe. Major studios stopped offering him roles, and his reputation in Hollywood took a hit. Despite the damage to his career, Richard stood by his decision. He accepted the fact that his politics had made him unwelcome in Hollywood, but he had no regrets. Richard's commitment to his Buddhist beliefs and activism had cost him fame, but it had also brought him peace. His path was now one of spiritual fulfillment over fame, and he was content with the trade-off. A new relationship. In 1988, Richard met Cindy Crawford, a rising supermodel. Despite their 17-year age gap, they quickly formed a bond over their shared interest in Buddhism and meditation. Their relationship was one of mutual respect and understanding, and together they traveled to India and Nepal, continuing their spiritual practices. To the public, they seemed like the perfect couple: beauty, fame, and success. However, their marriage faced challenges. Cindy, young and eager, was willing to adapt to Richard's interests, but Richard, more established in his ways, found the relationship stifling. In 1991, they eloped to Las Vegas in a spontaneous, low-key ceremony. Despite the excitement, the marriage soon began to unravel. The pressures of their careers and the constant media scrutiny took its toll, and by 1994, the couple had separated. Facing public scrutiny. In the aftermath of their split, Richard and Cindy found themselves the subject of intense media scrutiny. The tabloids speculated about the reasons for their separation, even questioning the legitimacy of their marriage. In a bid to silence the rumors, Richard and Cindy took out a full-page ad in the Times of London declaring their love and commitment to each other. However, the ad only seemed to fuel the fire. The public's fascination with their relationship only grew, and the whispers about their marriage continued. Eventually, they publicly acknowledged their separation in 1994. Despite the end of their marriage, Richard and Cindy remained on good terms, and Cindy later reflected that their busy schedules had caused them to grow apart, making it difficult for their relationship to thrive. Living with purpose. Richard Gere's story is one of incredible success, spiritual growth, and personal sacrifice. From a restless boy in Syracuse to one of Hollywood's most iconic leading men, Richard's journey has been anything but conventional. He walked away from fame, choosing peace and purpose over profit. His story serves as a reminder that success in the traditional sense is not always the ultimate goal. Richard's willingness to follow his heart, even when it meant losing everything the world values, has allowed him to find a deeper sense of fulfillment than many in Hollywood ever experience. Today, living in exile, Richard Gere is at peace with his choices.